There is so much to cover and so much trade to uncover and some stuff that we were not even expecting here today. So really quickly, I wanted to shout out our 3 latest members of Mike Mafia to join: Chin Doge, Legit Killer 2-Time, and Austin Chikarian. And also, if you subscribe and turn on our notifications, you've officially entered for a chance to win a PlayStation 5. Whether it's an old subscriber or a new subscriber, if you sub and hit that notification bell, you've entered for a chance to win a PS5. If you want additional chances, then follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And you best follow us on Instagram and Twitter, because as you're going to see in this video, a lot of your takes are going to be ripped off of Instagram and Twitter and featured in the content. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro.
Mark, did this surprise you, or did the people in the inner circles of the NBA see this coming?
Not this soon, because the deadline for an extension for Harden is Wednesday night at midnight. All the first rounders from the class of 2009 have until midnight at Wednesday to try to get extensions done. The Thunder and Harden, they've been going at this all month. The Rockets, their interest in James Harden has been known for quite a long time, so they were able to consummate a deal with Houston pretty quickly. But I think around the league, the expectation would have been that the Thunder would have at least tried to take this all the way to Wednesday and see if they could get a deal done. But Sam Presti decided not to wait.
We put all our assets into trade for him, but no one could anticipate he'd be the best player in the world.
Why did you put all your assets? Why him?
So both the eye test, because he looks amazing. I think anyone watched him, but if you looked at data at the time, once he had the ball in his hands, and it's still true to this day, and I get a lot of shit because someone asked me who's a better scorer, him or Michael Jordan, and it's just factual that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan.
Based on
to inbound, Harden trying to get free, down to 3, down to 2, it's a 3, good, he got it. James Harden, a flamethrower. Shot clock to 5. Paul guarded by Cook. Paul on the spin. Rebound, by the Warriors.
They're going to have to take Chris Paul off of the court. Well, they might have to drag him because he's not going to come off the court. But he is hurt right now, limping, walking gingerly and slowly to the sideline. Again, look at the...
Wanted to accommodate Westbrook, get him to the team that he wanted to play for, which was very definitively the Houston Rockets. Westbrook wanted to pair back up with former teammate James Harden, and the Thunder wanted to get him there, and they understood that with Paul George gone and the outlook for the team in a different place, it was time to start the rebuild, and Russell Westbrook just really didn't fit that type of timeline.
Both those guys do. Best game.
It's just, man, James, this is just like the playground in L.A.
I think this is how they envisioned it when they wanted to play together.
30 Rockets agreeing to trade their unhappy point guards John Wall to Houston, Russell Westbrook to Washington. Wizards also sent the Rockets a lottery-protected 2023 first-round pick. Both teams hoping this deal will help convince Beal and Harden to remain on their respective teams.
James, what was the point that you were trying to get across when you went to Atlanta and Vegas when training camp was starting?
I was just training.
What were you training for?
The start of the NBA season.
How did going to Atlanta and Vegas help you there when the Rockets were starting training camp in Houston?
Just my personal trainers.
James, now that you've been in camp for about a week, do you feel any better about this situation now than you did before you arrived?
Next question.
James Harden definitely had a pregame meal, averaging 17 points per game over the last 4.
End of the day, a lot of guys here want to compete at a high level. And like I told everybody tonight, and I told the guys before, when the 1 through 15 guys all on the same page and they commit, they know their role, they know what they want to do, they know what they want to get out of this, and that's the win, you all will be fine. But when you have certain guys in the mix that don't want to buy in all as one, it's going to be hard to do anything special or do anything good as a basketball team. I've been on those teams. In my 11 years been in the league, I've been on a team like that my first 5 years where it was all about me, not about the team, and that hurts. And it brings everybody down. So we can get all on the same page. we can be something good here. And we can't dwell down on it because it's only been 9 games. Like, come on, man. You want to jump off the cliff off of 9 games? There's a lot of basketball still be played.
We're just not good enough. We don't obviously chemistry, talent-wise, just everything. And it was clear, like I said, these last few games. They just, from the beginning of the game, they were just aggressive. Veteran team, obviously, championship team, and one of the best teams that we have in this league. I love this city. I literally, done everything that I can. This situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So, thanks.
Me personally, I don't feel betrayed at all. My interest is playing with John Wall, to be brutally honest. And with that being said, the disrespect started way before, any interview. Just the approach to training camp, showing up the way he did, the antics off the court. I mean, the disrespect started way before. So this isn't something that, all of a sudden happened, last night. But with that being said, like I said, this is the nasty part of the business. So it is what it is.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, it's a beautiful day because the James Harden saga has just ended in quite possibly one of the strangest and most puzzling ways we could have ever imagined. So if you guys saw my video from last night, you'd know that James Harden pretty much demanded that he get traded once again, saying that the Houston Rockets situation was just not for him. Earlier today, we heard news that the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers were both interested in trading for James Harden, with a rumor even coming out that the Philadelphia 76ers may be willing to part with Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, and Ben Simmons, and 4 first-round picks to get James Harden. Daryl Morey loves James Harden, but apparently he doesn't love James Harden that much, because we just found out a few moments ago from Adrian Wojnarowski that the Houston Rockets are officially trading James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. But the trade is a little bit bigger than what you think, man, so I'm going to dive into this, and this is one hell of a trade that's going to shake up the league. You see, the Nets are trading for all NBA star James Harden and sending 4 first-round picks and 4 draft swaps to the Houston Rockets, but the sources also tell The Athletic and at the stadium that Caris LeVert, Jarrett Allen are also being moved. Another team or 2 could be involved. Well, we found out that another team is freaking involved, bro, because the Indiana Pacers are moving Victor Oladipo to the Houston Rockets for a package around Caris LeVert. So Caris LeVert got traded to the Houston Rockets. The Rockets turned around and immediately ship him to the Indiana Pacers and get Victor Oladipo, officially forming a trio between Victor Oladipo, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, and with some good supporting pieces in Christian Wood. So here's the full shebang of the trade that you guys need to know. The Rockets are getting Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodion Kurucs, I can't even say that properly, I apologize, 3 Brooklyn first-round picks in 2022, 2024, and 2026, 1 Milwaukee 2022 unprotected first-round pick, and 4 Brooklyn Net first-round swaps. The Nets get James Harden, the Pacers get Caris LeVert, and a second-rounder. The Cleveland Cavaliers also enter the mix and get Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince. Originally, I was a huge proponent for the Brooklyn Nets to maintain as much depth as they can, but clearly with Kyrie Irving's Kyrieism, I feel like based off the sample size that we did see, acquiring James Harden is a good move, because James Harden also gets to reunite with his old head coach from the Houston Rockets and Mike D'Antoni, and another individual that got coached to an MVP, Steve Nash, as his head coach. Meanwhile, the Houston Rockets, I think, get an A+ for this deal. Acquiring Victor Oladipo not only is able to keep them competitive now, I don't think they're going to make any championship runs, but at least they're going to be competitive at this point. They're able to make up for the mistakes that they had in the past by getting multiple first-round picks, which is really important considering how much draft capital they gave up when they had to do the Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook trade. To be honest, I'm assuming the only reason the Indiana Pacers traded Victor Victor Oladipo for Karis LeVert is because Victor Oladipo was an expiring contract. They probably weren't sure about their future with Victor Oladipo and whether or not they're going to be able to retain his services or not. But personally, I think this is a remarkable trade for all parties involved. I'm very fascinated to see how the only big three in the NBA is going to perform against all the other really good dynamic duos we have, because most teams in the NBA currently are duos. The Brooklyn Nets are the only team in the NBA that have three big-name all-star players, two of which that have won MVPs already. I think this is a great opportunity for James Harden to finally win a NBA championship as well. But once again, like I said, when the Brooklyn Nets got off to a good start in the beginning of the year, the only thing that could screw them over is themselves. And having Kyrie Irving and James Harden on a team sounds like an extremely volatile trio. Will James Harden be able to buy into a team's philosophy and not only play isolation ball? Or is he going to keep doing that thing where he stands at half court while he waits for his teammates to create plays or feed him the ball so he could isolate? This could very much be a championship team, or we could see James Harden essentially get into the role, and this is an extreme, but essentially get into a very similar role that Carmelo Anthony did when he joined the OKC Thunder. Although I really don't think that could happen. That's the absolute worst case scenario, because that's the last time I could think of a very good isolation player joining two other superstars on a remarkable team. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this trade? What are your grades for each and every party involved? Aside from that, I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.